Well, our David Begnaud, again, is inside the Yum Center where the funeral will be taking place later this afternoon. And as you can see, David is joined by a man who might, well, have known Muhammad Ali as best as any, the one and only Don King. David?
Thank you, Josh. Don, I have to ask you, first of all, would Don King be as big a name as he is today without Muhammad Ali?
No question. I could not have done, but it was a thing that we did, complementing one another. We worked together. I put the fight together for the most defining fight of his career, which is the Rumble in the Jungle, that gave 1 billion viewership, that brought the hearts of all the people around the world resonating with his message. And certainly I never could have been known as a boxing promoter, but Ali put me in the boxing business to do it. So it was like a reciprocity. In fact, he sent me a photo that answers it all. He says, Don King, thanks for helping me make me the greatest. And so that I treasure that photo. It's in my office right now, and with his own writing and his script, so it is there, you know. But we are people of the people. We are fighters for the public. We are fighters for the, for freedom, justice, and equality, and to be able to help others. You know what I mean? Not be selfless rather than self-aggrandizement. You know.
Ali said it's not bragging if you can back it up. When you first met him, did you ever worry that he might not be able to back up some of that bragging?
You know what? Never questioned it, because when I first met him, I was a fan. I was going to each one of his fights. You know, then he went into exile. You know what I mean? And when he went into exile, then I would help him out while he was in exile. And then we'd work together. And then when I went to prison. So when I come out of prison, you know what I mean? The people in my hometown of Cleveland says, we're losing this hospital. The only one that serves black people and poor white people. All right? So he said, we want you to do a promotion for it. All right, I called Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali said yes. He came right on in to help out. He got Wilson Pickett in the midnight hour, and we put together a great big show there in Cleveland, a show for people care, and the rest was history. That's when he prevailed upon me to go in this sport of boxing. He said, you're the best promoter I ever seen. I want you to come and help these other guys. He said, don't worry about me. I'm Muhammad Ali. He said, but them other guys, the gladiators, they're bleeders in the center of the ring. They need your help. So come on over there. I said, you're going to let me promote you? You say, yes, you got me. So we went from there, started with the top.
He was the greatest, and he'd tell you that. Was there a moment, I know there were, as you and I were getting on the plane from Miami to fly here, and Lennox Lewis was with you, I remember you saying to me, he shouldn't have died because he had some fighting left to do. But I wonder, in the vulnerable moments, Mr. King, was there ever a moment where you saw a softer side of him, where maybe he even questioned his own weaknesses?
No, on the contrary, he told me, you know, that he would put himself in that position that make him have to work harder. He said when he was being braggadocio and he make them prognostications and predictions, then that would make him, after whatever he get ready to go astray in his training, he'd constrain himself, retain himself, and go back and work harder, because he made those commitments. He said that puts a lot more pressure on me. He said that's why I do that. He said not only do I be predicting, but now I got to live up to the prediction. You know what I mean? And so he said it makes me work harder.
One of his quotes was, "I hate to train." He didn't really like training.
That's why he would put himself in such an intensive by predicting. I'm gonna take him out in 4. I'm gonna take him out in 7. You know what I mean? And every time they would get some new slogans: float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see. You know what I mean? So we would put together all these different things, and then I coined the phrase: every knee must bend, every head must bow, every tongue must confess that thou art the greatest of all times, Muhammad Ali. And this is what we would just soar with. But it was a reciprocity thing there with me and him that was unbelievable. And that's why I love him to death. And now his spirit will never die. Ali is not dead. You know, the idea he's vacated that house here on earth. He said you pay rent there for the service you can do to others.
Mr. King, I have to ask you, yesterday, because it is news and you're in front of us today and this is your first interview since, Donald Trump called you, left a number, and you called him back. Did he ask for your endorsement?
Well, you know what? I endorse the people. The American people, and the American people have endorsed him as a candidate of rejection. The people are rejecting everything. The people are angry. You know what I mean? So therefore, but the people, whatever the people want, that's what I am, because the first elections was George Washington, and they would elect 2 people for candidate. You know, the one with the most votes for president. The one with the most votes would get to be president. The one with the less votes would be the vice president. So it would be Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders if it was in the days of old, and that rejection. And there are 2 outsiders.
I have 90 seconds left. So you do endorse him.
I endorse the American people.
All right.
And the American people chose him.
All right. So to the people who say he is offensive toward Muslims, we're about to have a ceremony where a lot of prominent Muslims will be present. What would you say to those people who say he creates controversy, he is filled with hate, and I cannot support him for that reason? What would you say to that?
Well, I would say that the hatred part is I don't buy into that. Donald Trump is not a racist, but the idea of it is, you know, a lady answers that for me. I had 4 or 5 white ladies that I was interviewing, and so they said we're going to vote for Trump, and then one lady said, he's been touched by God, and no matter what they say against him, the God will shield him and protect him, and so he can continue to do God's will. I put that in my newspaper about 3 or 4 weeks ago when I met her in the Boca Raton, and it's amazing, you know, what he says and does. You know, for me, from my Christian point of view, would say, forgive him, Father, know not what he doeth. But perhaps from her point of view, that he doing what, you know, to bring out all of the different idiosyncrasies of racism and bigotry and things that would never be on the front page of a conversation, but he has brought it out so people can see the condition our country is in, and that is why the people are rejecting the establishment, rejecting the government, rejecting the politicians, and so we'll see what happens, you know, because I'm with the people, no matter which way it goes. I'm a promoter of the people, by the people, and for the people, and my magic lies in my people ties.
84 and still singing. Thank you, Mr. King.
Thank you so
we
very,
appreciate
very much.
your time.